How's it going, everybody? It's Rob the Mellow Guy. I'm back with a vinyl collection update. I've decided to go over some of the new releases that I've added to my collection. These are albums that I've either ordered recently that have come in, or album I actually just picked up yesterday when I was shopping, and I'll get into that story. But today I'm also going to go off a little and give some recommendations at the end of the video for an album I've had in my CD collection. It's kind of like a band spotlight, up and coming artist. I did this at the end of my last video, if anyone remembers. If you haven't, go check it out, where I talked about a band called Lathe of Heaven. They're a really great up and coming post punk band from New York City. They put out an album called Bound by Naked Skies, and it's a really great release. Yeah, you have to check it out. I talked about it, and I thought to myself, I'm going to start doing that at the end of my videos. I'm going to give little shout outs to up and coming artists. So there's a band I will talk about today at the end of the video, and then also I'm going to give a recommendation for some manga, just because again I enjoy that. It's something I enjoy, and also talk about a great store if you are not aware when it comes to manga and Japanese art and entertainment. It's a place called Kinokuniya. I'll talk about that and the location that I go to. There'll be a lot of stories, I feel like, in this video. I'm only going to be going over 4 new albums I've added to my collection as of quote recent. But with my experience yesterday, it's going to be a story pertaining to that. In my life, I always have some weird things happen when I go places. I don't know what it is. I try to live a normal life. I live in a boring suburban city, but I just can't help it sometimes. You know, I go out and I don't know why. Every time I walk on the street, something strange happens. I try to limit it. I really do. I try to just live this normal life, listen to my metal music, rock music, new wave, and do my thing. But it's always when I go out, you know, for some reason, just can't stop from getting into some weird situation. And then I tell these people, and they always ask, "How does this always happen to you?" And I say, "I don't know. It's just what happens when you go outside, you know? You never know what you're going to get, especially when you live in California. I can tell you, California is a very interesting place." But let's start off with the collection updates. Here I have Lush. This is Spooky. I actually, what is really funny about this, in my video where I talked about my new wave and post-punk vinyls, I also brought up Lush. I have Chow, which is the best of Lush. It's a compilation vinyl, two disc or 2 vinyl release I bought from Discology in Reno. And at that time, it was so hard to find Lush vinyl, right? Anything from the band Lush. They're a UK post-punk, shoegaze, alt-rock band, very influential. Chuck Schuldiner from Death was a fan. He actually talked about him in a video, which I think is cool, because again, I love death metal, and then I discovered Lush, and hearing Chuck talk about the band, similar to how I feel, just great songs, great harmonies, melodies, great guitar playing, the chords and the effects. If you are into just captivating sounding guitar work, the full chords, you would say shoegaze, right? You describe that as the sound, but also very, very atmospheric, just, and the vocals so lovely. So again, the melodies and the harmonies that just come from their music, and just great songwriters. Lush, amazing band, great band. But it was so hard to find their albums. Like my favorite album, which is Spooky here, I wanted to get this for a long time. I just could never get the chance to find a vinyl or CD in good condition, right? You'd find used stuff on eBay for about $2,000. It's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. People on eBay jack up the prices for albums that, of course, are out of print. And so in that last video, I brought that up. I was really frustrated. I was like, well, I'm really glad that I got this compilation vinyl, Chow. I just wish I could get like Spooky or Split or the self-titled Lush. I'd love to get that, there are other releases, the actual releases on vinyl. And sure enough, it was funny. I was looking at something and I was like, oh yeah, Lush, they're re-releasing, reissuing the albums on vinyl. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I just was complaining about this. I'm sure this was already done before, my video didn't influence, but the timing was just so funny. So right away, I was like, I gotta get Spooky. So I bought this on vinyl. Really glad I got this. I love the song Ocean, one of my favorite tracks on this. Nothing Natural, that's a great track. And I also really like Tiny Smiles. That's a good song. But if you are interested, check out this album Spooky. If you want to check out Lush, if you're a person who's unfamiliar with their music, this to me is a great album from top to bottom. Great songs, great sound. And also I decided, because I was very lucky, I got an Amazon gift card. So I decided to also pick up Split. This is a great release as well. I like Spooky a little bit more, but Light from a Dead Star is an amazing track. I just, the haunting, atmospheric, it's this very spellbinding, just very, just almost cinematic. And the production on the song, it's really good. It's an amazing track. And it's not overly technical. It's the whole way it's produced. It has such a, like I say, like a cinematic sound, and the vocals are great on it. It's a really good song. And also another good track from this album is Hypocrite. A little more aggressive, a little more edgy. You could definitely hear kind of like the 90s rock, grunge kind of approach in that song. And the music video for it they have out, it's really cool. But I think that's a track a lot of people, if you're familiar with Lush, Hypocrite is the one on this album that kind of stands out. But I think Light from a Dead Star is the best track, hands out. Also, though, you have Undertow is a really good song. And then When I Die, the final track, is a really cool, just a really well written song. The lyrics, the emotion, the story it tells, right? I love When I Die. It's a song that I love to play on guitar because, again, the chords they're so full of emotion. The vocals, the lyrics about that track and how it was written. I think Lush really stands out. Really tremendous musicians. And I'm glad finally that these albums have been reissued. That was kind of like the thing I was complaining about. I was like, why are these albums out of print? The fans want them. There's a strong following, right? Lush fans that I think would love to see these albums out. I'm actually part of, on Facebook, a Lush fan group. And that's where people started talking about this, like, oh, finally you have this chance to, get the albums again on vinyl. And I don't know, I think CD, they might have reissued them as well. I've just seen the vinyls. I was at Rasputin's yesterday, and Campbell, which is near San Jose, it's on like the border. If you're not familiar with the Bay Area, San Jose, California, Campbell is a city kind of next to it. And there's a Rasputin's there. And I saw a couple albums, so I'm glad to see that they're out there. Again, you can get them online, you can get them in stores. Finally, though, it took a little while for that to happen. And here's another album that I purchased because I had that cool gift card, which I decided to get this release from Susie and the Banshees, Juju. If you are a fan of post-punk, just really solid guitar work, very innovative sounding guitar style and approach and playing, you need to listen to Juju. If you have not, John McGate is an amazing guitarist, just highly influential guitarist. And Steve Severin, amazing bassist as well. Susie, of course, we have to give her credit. She's an amazing vocalist, truly phenomenal singer. She's captivating. Her sound, her delivery. There's just, again, Susie and the Banshees, an amazing post-punk new wave act that influenced a lot of the bands in the 80s. And you can hear also modern, I believe, post-punk new wave bands that have been influenced by her. A lot of artists, I feel, owe Susie tons of credit for what she did, and she paved the way. And Juju is a great release. Arabian Nights is one of the tracks that's well known off of it. Spellbound is another, but I love Night Shift. Night Shift is probably, to me, the unsung hero, and Voodoo Doll. I think that last track on the album, Voodoo Doll, just haunting guitar work, and also Susie's vocals, everything about that track, the presence of everything, just how it is. And then Sin in My Heart, that's a good song. But Halloween, that's a good track as well. I like Halloween. Arabian Nights too, that's a fascinating song. The lyrics as well as the chord progressions in that track, and the beginning, and the kind of, again, Middle Eastern sound and style that they're building up. And it just is another example, though, of a guitarist who at that time was being very innovative and very experimental with his sound, his tone, the guitar effects he was using. And a lot of artists have cited his work as, very, influential on their style and playing. Killing Joke, I know, took a lot from Susie and the Banshees and that sound, as well as other artists of the post-punk, new wave, genre. I believe listened to the early Susie and the Banshee albums and just, took that kind of sound and approach and that ability to experiment with chord progressions and the guitar effects to kind of fit the haunting vocals and that kind of mood that was being set at the time. A lot of artists that were going through that, kind of experimental phase when you had punk kind of shifting into the more electronic, the dark, you even say, like, again, the goth new wave sound. This is a great album. Highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out. Juju by Susie and the Banshees. All right, and here's the album that just yesterday I purchased. And I went down to Campbell, California. Like I said, it's on the border. This is Death Human. Great death metal album from the band Death. Probably this marked when Chuck Schuldiner really started going off in an unbelievably technical and just thought-provoking direction. Lyrically, musically, this album is, to me, the accumulation of hard work and just perseverance. What he did, as well as Paul Masvidal, and, excuse me, kind of mispronounced it there, and Sean Reiner, and then I'm going to mispronounce his name because I always do, but Steve DiGiorgio, tremendous musicians. And Paul and Chuck on this album, their guitar riffs, the lead guitar playing, just everything about it just stands out. It is an unbelievable release. And I really wanted to get this, and I saw Rasputin's yesterday, and I said, I need to add this to my collection. I have a couple other Death albums in there. I did not have this on vinyl, so I said I'm going to get it. Lack of Comprehension is probably the one song that really stands out. People know this album for. But, Suicide Machine is a great song as well. Together is one. And then Cosmic Sea. I love that because it's an instrumental track, and they really explore and they kind of step outside at times, and just so many bands you can hear took from this album. It's unbelievable. And the band that I'm going to talk about in my recommendation, they're hugely influenced by Death, and I think this album alone was so important. But the story is getting to when I went to Rasputin's in Campbell. See, I live closer. I could go to the Rasputin's in Concord. That would probably be easier. But sometimes they piss me off. Sometimes the workers there, their attitudes, and also, I don't know, you drive to Pleasant Hill, actually. It's technically Pleasant Hill. It used to be in Concord. Now it's in Pleasant Hill, the border. It was with Rasputin's, always located on, like, the borders of places. I don't get it. It's annoying. Just be in one city. Well, I guess Berkeley is, but I'm not going to Berkeley. I'm dealing with those damn hippies. But sometimes the Pleasant Hill one I go to, but then there's times, like I said, I'm just like, I want to go. I want to go to the South Bay. I want to go to San Jose. And I had another reason why I wanted to go to San Jose. I wanted to go to my manga store in the Japanese market, which is in San Jose there. So I said, I'm going to go to the Rasputin's in Campbell and check out what they have and see how it is. It's actually really nice. I love the floor plan of it. It's very spread out. They used to have a huge metal CD selection. They kind of downsized. The one in Pleasant Hill, too, downsized their metal CD section, which really pissed me off. And that's probably why I said, I don't want to go back there for a while. They've just really been kind of downsizing, which I guess I can understand. Maybe what not a lot of people listen to metal, and it's hard, but I try to go to these stores and support when I can. And I said, I'll go to the one in Campbell, check it out. So I go to the one in Campbell here and walking around the store. I'm looking at the CDs. So I usually look at the CDs first, go through the rock, go through the punk, go through the new wave, gothic industrial. I'll even go through, then I get to the metal, right? Usually I get to the metal, right? Because that's where I'm going to spend my most time in the metal CDs. And then I'm going to make my way to the vinyl. And I usually start with the metal vinyl. I have like a process. I guess you could say that maybe I have OCD, but I have a process of how I look at my, the albums and Rasputins. But, well, sometimes I change it up because of behavior of certain customers. I don't want to go down that aisle, which I'll explain. When I'm looking at the metal CDs, all of a sudden I started looking over at the vinyl section, and I noticed these people, they're about to go down the aisle to look at the vinyls in this one area, and they stop and they kind of go, and they keep walking. I'm like, what's wrong over there? I'm still, I'm thumbing through the metal CDs, like, okay, here, what do we got? And I keep looking over, like, why do these people keep, like, looking down there like somebody's, like, diseased, or there's, like, I thought maybe somebody, like, took a dump in the store. But this is in San Francisco, so I kind of doubted that. I was like, okay, something's going on. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go over there eventually, so, okay, I don't know why people don't want to walk down this one aisle. Well, sure enough, I walk over, and I go, oh yeah, this is where the metal section is. Well, I guess these people don't like metal and punk, and there's rap over here. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with these people. I don't want to go down. And I look on the floor, and there is a girl, and she's got like the fishnet stockings up her legs. She's got like the short shorts. She's got like a tight black, the see-through, and she's trying to look like Little Miss, black #1, goth girl. I don't know what she was trying to do. She was looking something all right. And there's this guy with like a ponytail, the white, salt and pepper gray ponytail, like a, I don't want to say, he's got his camera, and he's got like the light, right? The camera for, he's like I guess he's a professional photographer. He claims to be on Craigslist. And sure enough, like, this girl is laying on the ground, and she's got like Misfits vinyls around her, and like Suicidal Tendencies and Danzig. And I'm thinking, okay. And she's having the guy taking photos of her. So I'm like, okay, now I can see why people don't want to come down this aisle. They're doing some like photo shoot on the floor at a Rasputin's in Campbell, California. Like, what the hell is wrong with you people? So I said, okay, I'm just going to go over to the rock section and look at the rock vinyls for a little bit, and hopefully they're done doing whatever the hell they're doing, photos for, I was going to say maybe it's a magazine, but more than likely it's for like OnlyFans or, goth girls. I don't want to know. I didn't want to speculate. I was going to ask too, but I didn't do that. All I did was I'm looking through the rock section, and these people keep walking by, and they're like, ugh, like, what the hell's going on there? Why is this guy's taking photos of this girl on the ground, and the guy's like saying to her, like, oh, I like what you're doing there. Yeah, keep doing that. And I'm just like, okay, what the hell's going on, please? Somebody, what the workers at the Campbell Rasputins, I guess they were absent, or they just decided not to even, I don't know where they were. I don't even want to know what they were doing, Gosh, it was like, come on, people. What are you doing? But I keep looking. So finally I say, enough's enough. I go around, and I start pretending to look at like this one vinyl area, and I'm getting closer and closer to them. Then I get to the punk section, and I finally say, okay, the metal section's right here. She's on the floor. The guy's right there. How am I going to do this? And I saw the Death albums, because I was thinking I want to pick up a copy of Human. And so I'm like, okay, how do I do this? And so finally I go, excuse me, I really don't want to have to like step on you or, interfere in your shot. Can I please just get over to look at the metal vinyls? Especially I want to try to get, that Death Human copy I can see. And they're like, oh, we're sorry. Oh, no, please don't mind us. Yes. We're just happy the owner hasn't come and kicked us out. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I just don't want to ruin your shot or whatever. I was like, whatever you're doing, I don't want to get involved, just, I want to look. I want to look at the one section I pretty much came for. You are here preventing me from getting it. So I'm just, okay, thanks, yeah. So they kind of move, but now they're behind me and the guy's taking the photos and she's on the floor of her Misfits vinyls. And I feel bad for the Misfits because it only adds to that, accusation that people say girls listen to the Misfits to think they're cool, and it's that they wear the shirts and they don't even know the songs. They're trying to again, it's the image. These girls wearing Misfits t-shirts that are, adult actresses or whatever this girl was doing, photos for some, I don't want to know. But yeah, I don't know what it is about the Misfits. I don't think anybody remembers their music, it seems like. But I just finally was like, God, this is sad. And, I'm just trying to look. And so I grabbed my copy of Death and I'm like, I'm going to get out of here. And then all of a sudden, here comes the manager finally like, are you good? Are you good? What's going on here, people? Are you, you emailed me, I think. Yeah, you sent the email. Okay, as long as you don't bother the customers, you're good, And I'm thinking to myself, couldn't they have done this later? If I was the manager, I would have been like, okay, you want to take photos on the floor of a Rasputin's. Come about 20 minutes to closing time when most people don't show up at the Rasputin's. Trust me, usually around closing time, it's pretty dead. I've been there to Rasputin's when it's, 20 to 30 minutes before closing. Do that. Don't do it in the afternoon when everybody's showing up. So that's my story. Weird as hell. But you know what? That's what happens, You go to San Jose / Campbell, and people are taking photos in Rasputin's on the floor with Misfits albums around them. All right, so for the artist spotlight, kind of connecting to Death, I thought I'd talk about Hemotoxin in this album, Between Forever and the End. This is a really good release, Between Forever and the End by Hemotoxin. Hemotoxin is a young, well, they're not so young anymore. I remember them when I first saw them opening for Havoc at Red House in Walnut Creek, but they are a Contra Costa County band, Antioch, Pittsburgh area. But they have been going now for like 2011, 12. I saw them, I think it was 2013 maybe, was when they opened for Havoc, and ever since then I've been a fan, been a supporter. I've reviewed their albums for the Rock and Metal Temple, my blog, numerous times. They're currently signed to Unspeakable Acts. That's where they put out some great releases: Biological Enslavement, Restructure the Molded Mind, 2 albums that I highly recommend checking out. But this album from them is a true gem. It's where they started. It's their beginning release that really, to me, set the tone for this band. And some of the songs, The Shadow Over Innsmouth is still one I enjoy. I always like when they play it live. I interviewed them too numerous times. Actually, I interviewed the band for the documentary I did with my friend Raj. If you check it out on my YouTube page, the Rising from the Bay, they were nice enough to do that. Really appreciate that, and I'm glad I got to include them because they really are one of the best up-and-coming Bay Area thrash death metal bands. You can hear a lot of death. You can hear a lot of Pestilence, Cynic, but also the tech thrash bands, and also just the bands from like the Bay Area, like Exodus, Testament, Forbidden. You hear a lot of that influence, as well as Toxic. You can definitely catch some of those style riffs in their music. But this album, I'm so glad when they reissued it. You also get a couple live tracks from when they did a radio show, KFJC. They did a performance, and they have a couple of tracks on here. And then the 2 covers, they got, it's just the one cover, but the digital, there's a cover of Metallica, I think, on the Bandcamp, I'm pretty sure I had, didn't I? Maybe I'm going crazy. But the Suicide Machine is on this, and they've covered a lot of songs from like Death and other artists. They're again they're a great band. Highly recommend checking them out. Hemotoxin. I wanted to give them a shout out. I know they're working on new material. Michael Chavez, the guitarist, singer, really nice guy, very talented, driven artist. God, he reminds me so much of Chuck Schuldiner. And when I say that, it's not just his presentation, delivery of the lyrics, very similar his style of growling and his singing, and even guitar playing. Right, you could tell he takes a lot, but it's also that work ethic, that dedication, and he's also very open-minded. He likes a lot of different styles of music. When you talk to him, he's such an amazing person to talk with music, life. And he's really worked hard. You know, like I said, I saw them opening for Havoc, and then I've seen them play numerous times after that, different settings, and they just keep getting better. And they're a band that I really hope gets the attention of some of these big metal labels that can maybe look at them and say, God damn, this is a great artist. So check me out, Hemotoxin. All right, last, I got to give a shout out to Kinokuniya. They are a Japanese manga store in San Jose, California. After my ordeal at the Rasputins, I also, when I was driving there, going down Stevens Creek, there's these crazy Christian people and like anti-vaxxers that had taken over the street corners. So San Jose was just nuts yesterday. And then you had the 49ers and the Cowboys game, so you had all that crowd. And I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys fans after, you know, they were crying at the bars in San Jose after getting their butts whooped. But I said, man, I got to go to a place that's happy. And what better place than Kinokuniya? Just, it's a great manga store. If you like manga, Japanese entertainment, I mean, they have stuffed animals, this and that, magazines, cookbooks, Japanese cookbooks, everything, man. But the manga store, especially, the section is really, it's well laid out. It's clean. I picked up yesterday Mermaid Saga #2. This is from Rumiko Takahashi. She is, if people are not familiar, Inuyasha is probably her most well-known, probably the most popular series that she did. Urusei Yatsura, her first big series, that is one that I enjoy. I have some of those. The Inuyasha, I have the complete collection, all the not albums, all the manga, and just love it. My nephew, he's also a big fan of Inuyasha. And then Mao, she's working on, is a current series that she's done that's really good. She's done a lot, but I love her works. Rumiko Takahashi, if you haven't heard of her, she is a great artist, author in the world of manga. But Mermaid Saga is really good. This is the first one I have. I also got it from Kinokuniya. And it deals with a character who eats mermaid flesh, and because of that, he becomes immortal. And he's trying to find a way to not be immortal anymore, because immortality is really a curse. And he meets this young girl along the way who she too eats the mermaid flesh, making her immortal. And they sort of have this bond, and they go forward interacting with people who are tied to this whole, the legend of, if you mermaid flesh, you become immortal. And I think it's a really fascinating concept, you know, to deal with, you know, immortality and what the curse and what it can bring in that kind of life and death scenario, and how people, again, their behavior and their attitude when it comes to this. I really like what she did. I think Mermaid Saga is a fascinating, underrated manga series that I would highly recommend. And also the market too in San Jose. If you ever go to the Kinokuniya, it's the Mitsuyama Market. It's like the Strawberry Plaza. It's like this whole area that's just really cool. It gets very busy, but the market is clean. It's amazing. You can get a ton of snacks that are great. They got these great sodas and juices. I just love it. I could spend a lot of time in there. Trust me, it's just fun. So just wanted to give that recommendation. But anyway, people, I hope you enjoyed this video and getting to see some of the new vinyls I got and hearing these stories. I feel like I should have Rob the Mel guy's story time, but I'm afraid that would turn into like that would be like a movie, Rob the Metal Guy story time. So I gotta try to keep it short. But anyway, if you watch this whole video, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, please do. Check out the blog, Rock and Metal Temple. Tons of great music coming your way. Recommendations, updates. That's what I'm trying to do here with the channel, to spread the word of good music and good art and good stories from stuff that I enjoy. So, all right, people, have a good one. Rob the Mill Guy signing off here.